Welcome to the 7th episode of the Season 3 Arrow Rewrite series. This is a series of videos where I will attempt to use hindsight, knowing where character storylines went and knowing how the audience reacted to them, to attempt to improve the story in comparison to the Arrowverse that we ended up getting. And this Arrow Rewrite series is part of a greater Arrowverse Rewrite series, which is constantly expanding to cover all the shows that we ended up seeing, or at least the main ones. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. My channel, it's on its deathbed, but it's not yet fully dead. You can still help revive it. Just hit that subscribe button and share these videos with any friends of yours you may have that enjoyed the Arrowverse or just like rewrites in general. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. This episode will begin with Diggle finally gaining access to Argus on the pretext of he wants to meet his wife when she arrives because she is finally returning from her long-term mission today. He will try to enter Waller's office, but it has an encrypted lock and he can't get Felicity to pick up her phone and hack it for him. His wife's office has a similar lock, but he knows the password, so he gains access. He will get on her computer and attempt to find out anything he can about Checkmate, but he has no luck. The prevailing theory that Timaru has is that Checkmate is a top secret organization within Argus, which is already a top secret organization. Think of it as a similar situation to Hydra and SHIELD from Captain America and the Winter Soldier, where Hydra was a hidden organization within SHIELD, controlling SHIELD from within. Anyway, like I said earlier, he will be unable to access anything to do with all the details they know about Checkmate. For example, they know that Waller was a member of Checkmate 5 years ago, but when he tries to look up any mission reports to do with Waller from 5 years ago, they're all completely classified, meaning that despite Lyla's high rank, even she doesn't have the clearance, and the only way he's going to get the answers he seeks is to get on Waller's computer. But here's the important thing to note. As he's busy going through these classified files, he will see one file that will spark his interest. It'll be a mission report from just 2 weeks ago showing that the Suicide Squad is still very active and Deadshot and Huntress are still very active members. They were both in that mission from 2 weeks ago, and the reason it will catch his eye is because he'll see Deadshot's picture. But before he can read the finer details, Lyla will walk in tired, but when she sees him, her face will light up and she'll rush to him, and Diggle will stand up and the man and his wife will embrace each other, and Lyla will talk about how tired she is from all the travel and how all she really wants to do is get home, hug baby John and take a long nap, how she's so happy to see him. That's when she'll see what John was doing on her computer. She won't get mad or anything and will ask if Team Arrow's trying to catch Deadshot or something. Diggle will say no and say he was just shocked that the Suicide Squad was still in play, and Lyla will say that just because he refused to be team captain, well, he tried to refuse and Waller forced him into it anyway. But that doesn't mean Waller would just abandon the project. And she will also reveal that the Suicide Squad, it's not all as bad as he thinks it is. They certainly keep that promise that they give, that with every suicide mission, the inmates get to reduce their sentences by 10 years. And for example, Bronze Tiger was able to work off his complete sentence and now he's a free man. Diggle will then reveal why he was really here and ask Lyla what she knows about Checkmate. Lyla will then pause and stare at him for a little too long before saying she's never heard of Checkmate, but that she'll try and look into it because she knows how important John's brother was to him and how badly he's wanted to avenge his brother's death. Anyway, that's when the man himself, Deadshot, will walk in and tell the couple he's been sent for both of them, but especially John, and they have a new suicide mission. Before I get into that, because if you can't tell, this is a Diggle-centric episode, let me talk about some other things. First thing is yet another season 2 retcon. This is one that it's not something I remembered after the fact. I had it planned out in season 2, then I forgot to add it to the script. Then in episode 1 of season 3, I'm gonna add it, and it just went going on all the way now. We're in episode 8. I mean, we're in episode 7. I just kept forgetting, but it's something small. In the episode where Nissa debuts, we'll simply change the title of that episode from Heir to the Demon to Daughter of the Demon. Maybe a small change, but it is an important one. Second, let me talk about the rest of Team Arrow and what they'll be doing for the course of this episode. The villain of the week will be the Doll Maker, making his return from season 2. We will say he had already used some of his doll making formula on himself, and that's how he survived when the Canary, quote unquote, killed him. And I think he's a perfect villain of the week because the last time we saw him, he'd kidnapped Dinah and was planning to turn her into a doll. So it's only poetic and fair that Black Canary should help take him down and rescue whatever poor woman is preying on this episode. But the most important thing to note, the most important development that will happen is that Team Arrow will finally learn the identity of the mysterious Black Canary in this episode. Picture the scene however you want because it doesn't really matter. Personally, I'm going with Oliver will figure it out for himself because we have to show Oliver's a bit competent, so be able to deduce who is behind the mask. And an important thing to note is Oliver will remark on the hand-stitched logo on her jacket and call it a pretty bird. And if you know, you know. If you don't know, well, you'll find out eventually. But the fact that, her identity is being revealed and, she wears a mask, that's why the title is called Hiding Behind Masks. I know it's a weak title, but, whatever. Anyway, so going back to Diggle and the Suicide Squad, we will learn that the mission is to infiltrate the nation of Vladva and rescue Princess Perdita Vladek, who just came of age, making her the rightful leader of Vladva. But her sinister uncle Rasputin, who was the acting regent while she was still a child, doesn't want to give up his crown, so he locked her up. The suicidal part of this mission is infiltrating the country with a team of only 4: Diggle, Deadshot, Huntress, and Condiment King, a new villain from Gotham City who's guaranteed to pull his weight. Lyla will volunteer to join the team to increase their odds of success. Now, the important things to note from this mission are as follows. 1. They will successfully rescue Princess Perdita and she will take her rightful place on the throne as Queen Perdita Vladek of Vlatva. 2. Condiment King will unfortunately do a bad job and almost get himself killed, but Diggle will go back for him, but he will get removed from the Suicide Squad and sent back to Gotham. 3. Huntress will reveal she had a top secret mission from Waller herself to assassinate Rasputin, and when the rest all act in surprise after she accomplishes her mission and kills the guy, she will look at them and tell them they are all naive and ask exactly how long did they think the new Queen Perdita would have lasted on the throne when all the soldiers in the castle are loyal to Rasputin. The only way for her to be able to last long is for him to die and for it to look like she had nothing to do with it, those sinister Americans. And even then, America wouldn't want to be associated, so it's just that mysterious Suicide Squad that infiltrated the country, killed their leader, and now, because there's no one else, now Queen Perdita can finally take her place on the throne. 4. Deadshot will ask John whether he ended up finding checkmate, and we all know John's reply will be, unfortunately, no. And finally, 5. As they are going back, Lyla will ask John to consider letting all this go and say that if Waller is trying to hide checkmate, then following the trail might be suicide. And Diggle will smile and say that's kinda what we do, and also say seriously that he has to see this through the end. Then, Lyla won't comment any further. Finally, let's talk about the flashback. You will remember me saying earlier in the rewrite, not this episode obviously, I believe it was episode 2. Anyway, me saying that we would be changing the flashback storyline for the original Arrow season 2 episode 16, and we replaced it with a Deadshot origin flashback. Well, now we will see that flashback which we had removed, and if you can't remember what happened there, Diggle and Lyla met for the first time where they were both soldiers and they had a mission to protect some, I think it was refugees or villagers. There were a bunch of women, but there was also a guy there who was important because he ended up being relevant in that particular episode when then they went to his house to get the bomb that was there. It was a whole thing. You should rewatch the episode in your own time. But if the flashback will remain exactly the same, and the guy who they rescued can change his nationality from Markovian to Latvian, and to be relevant in the episode, we can say he was the informant who helped them enter Latva and gave them all the information about what was happening, because obviously when Rasputin imprisoned the rightful ruler, he didn't want the UN to find out, but the guy ended up informing them. His name was Golem Kadir. But the important thing to add is at the very end, after Diggle and Lyla have introduced themselves to each other and they've separated, Lyla will get a call, and when she goes to pick up her phone, we'll see the checkmate logo, a knight, on the screen, and she'll look around and then pick up, and we'll hear a man's voice say, "Agent Michaels, that's your 20th checkmate mission in a row successfully completed. You've now been promoted to become the White King's Knight. Congratulations." And Lyla will ask, "Finally, but I thought you couldn't gain the position until it opened up. What happened to the previous guy who held the position?" Let's just say he's met an untimely end. That will be all for now. Agent Michaels will be contacting you soon enough. And the episode ends there. Now, the important thing to note from this little flashback is Lyla was lying, and not just a small lie. Not only did she say she doesn't know Checkmate, she was an active member of Checkmate, and as far as we know, she probably still is. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm moving fast with these. Obviously, it's because the past 2 episodes have both been short, so I can record and edit them much faster. But I'm also more psyched. I really want to do my best to get it done before the year ends, so that we can start, season 4, Flash season 2, Supergirl season 1, Legends of Tomorrow season 1, all next year. But we'll see how it goes. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, share the video with someone. The algorithm, it's not being kind to me. And if the next episode, which is called Vigilantes vs Metahumans, is already out, then click it. It's the crossover episode where we will see the Flash. So that's something to look forward to. Until then, hail and farewell.